Not a shot was fired, and there was no blood. But the battle for supremacy in semiconductor manufacturing in East Asia has always been brutal.
Internet giant Alibaba on Wednesday released its first self-developed chip during its annual Apsara conference. The Hanguang 800 is produced by Alibaba's chip-making subsidiary T-Head. The chip is designed for AI systems as well as cloud computing.
China has finally done it. They have officially overtaken the U.S. in AI chip development. This is the moment the U.S. feared, as China no longer needs to rely on foreign purchases for advanced tech. Thanks to Alibaba, which is one of the biggest internet giants, China has just revealed its first self-developed AI chip, the Hanguang 800. So what exactly is this chip, and how has it given China the upper hand? What is the response of its competitors? You are going to find out in a moment. The strategies. Now, why is this chip such a big deal? You see, the Hanguang 800 is no ordinary chip. With a performance that is off the charts, it is set to revolutionize industries that rely on AI, machine learning, and big data. We are talking about a chip capable of handling 256 trillion calculations per second. That's right, and it is not just about raw power either. In an industry-standard test, the Hanguang 800 processed an incredible 78,563 images per second, making it 4 times faster than its closest competitor. If that's not impressive, I don't know what is. Now, what makes the Hanguang 800 better than the rest? One word: efficiency. While it delivers jaw-dropping performance, it also uses significantly less power. This is all thanks to the 3D stacking technology, which allows more transistors to be packed into a smaller space. More transistors mean more computing power, but with less energy consumption. So it is both faster and greener. That's a win-win situation for any tech company looking to save on energy costs without compromising on speed. And Alibaba is not just showing off with this chip, it is already being put to work. The company has integrated the Hanguang 800 into its cloud computing services, which means faster data processing for its clients. What used to take an hour now only takes minutes. The chip can handle deep learning tasks, like image and speech recognition, at an astounding pace, making it perfect for AI-powered applications. The implications are massive. Everything from security systems to healthcare diagnostics could benefit from this kind of speed and accuracy. The interesting thing is that this is part of a much bigger strategy. China's tech giants, including Alibaba, have been working toward reducing the country's reliance on foreign tech. The Hanguang 800 is a huge leap in that direction. By developing its own advanced AI chips, China is no longer dependent on buying from the US or other countries for cutting-edge technology. They are building it themselves. And that's a big deal, especially when we are talking about industries that are crucial to national security, like military systems and cybersecurity. China is not stopping at the Hanguang 800 either. This is just one piece of a larger strategy to dominate the semiconductor industry. The Chinese government has invested billions into research and development, with initiatives like the China National Semiconductor Fund pumping over $150 billion into the country's semiconductor companies. These investments are paying off big time. Chinese tech companies are rapidly closing the gap between them and their Western counterparts, not just in AI chips, but across the entire semiconductor market. And let's not forget the global impact. With China ramping up production and innovation in the semiconductor industry, the US and its allies are feeling the heat. American companies like Intel and Nvidia, who have been at the forefront of chip development for years, now find themselves scrambling to keep up. The US has even passed its own CHIPS Act. It has dedicated $52 billion to boost domestic semiconductor production and reduce reliance on foreign suppliers. But can they match China's momentum? It is going to be a tough battle, that's for sure. As China strengthens its semiconductor industry, it is also creating a ripple effect on the global supply chain. Chinese companies are not just building chips for their own use, they are exporting them. With the Hanguang 800 setting new benchmarks, international tech firms are being forced to rethink their strategies. Can they continue relying on the same suppliers, or will they need to form new partnerships with Chinese manufacturers? This shift is already causing waves in the tech world, and it is only going to get bigger. What will the US do next? Are other companies doing something in response to China's big release? Increased competition. The truth is, the global tech race just got a whole lot more intense, and everyone's eyes are on the semiconductor industry. Companies around the world are scrambling to develop chips that are not only more powerful but also sustainable. The competition is fierce, and it is pushing the boundaries of what these tiny yet mighty pieces of technology can do. Now, why does this all matter? Because the Hanguang 800 is a game changer in this semiconductor industry. It has already set the bar high, and you can bet that other big players like Intel and AMD are feeling the pressure to keep up. This competition is driving nations and companies to pour resources into research, innovation, and strategic partnerships, all with the goal of staying ahead in this fast-paced tech race. The semiconductor industry is about to go through some massive changes, and the Hanguang 800 is just the spark. Big names like Intel and AMD are ramping up their efforts. Smaller companies are also stepping into the ring. These fresh players are bringing innovative ideas and tech to the table, shaking things up even more. China's advancements in semiconductor technology are a direct challenge to the global tech community, and it is forcing everyone to stay on their toes. It is not just about chips anymore. We are changing the future of technology. The competition is not slowing down, and as nations and corporations invest in these next-gen technologies, we are going to see more breakthroughs. This rivalry is driving major advancements, particularly in AI and big data, and companies are collaborating more than ever to stay ahead. And the interesting thing is that the Hanguang 800 isn't just sitting on a shelf somewhere, it is already being used and with impressive results. At the Apsara conference, it was revealed that this chip is a key player in Alibaba's City Brain project in Hangzhou. Before, it took 40 GPUs to process video feeds from the city's urban districts. Now, they can do the same job with just 4 Hanguang 800 chips. That's efficiency on a whole new level. Not only that, but the chip also reduced latency from 300 milliseconds to just 150. And if that was not enough, Alibaba launched an AI cloud service powered by the Hanguang 800 on the same day. The result was a massive increase in performance, up to 100% higher compared to traditional GPUs. But that's not all. Alibaba's semiconductor subsidiary, Pingtog, has been busy too. Over the past 6 months, they have launched the Xuanti 910 processor and the Wuxian S platform, all part of their growing chip development suite. And with the addition of the Hanguang 800, Alibaba is positioning itself as a serious contender in the cloud and edge computing markets. The company is building an all-in-one chip development platform that covers everything from AI inference chips to powerful processors. According to Jeff Zhang, the dean of Alibaba's DMO Academy, this is just the beginning. Alibaba might be a new player in the chip game, but with the launch of the Xuanti 910 and the Hanguang 800, they are already changing the dynamics of the semiconductor industry. But where exactly is this tech race heading? AI integration. The Hanguang 800 has the potential to revolutionize industries like medical imaging and self-driving technologies. Imagine the impact on healthcare alone. This chip could significantly enhance visual recognition systems used in medical diagnostics. And that's just one example. The possibilities are endless when you think about how AI can be applied across various sectors. But let's get real for a second. China's latest move is a direct hit to the US tech industry. And no, they didn't need missiles or military action to do it. This weapon is a tiny piece of silicon that could change the entire tech landscape. Jeff Zhang, Alibaba's CTO, made it clear during the chip's launch that this is an important step toward developing next-generation technology, particularly when it comes to boosting computing power and energy efficiency. And if you think this is just another chip, think again. It is so much more than that. China may not commercialize AI on a large scale, but don't think for a second they won't use it in their military or government agencies. Now they have the upper hand. Do you remember when Google had to cut ties with Huawei? China has not forgotten either. They are making sure they don't have to rely on anyone else for their tech needs, and the Hanguang 800 is a clear sign that they are ready to stand on their own. This chip is for speeding up processes, yes, but it is also a powerhouse for AI. Tasks that used to take an hour are now done in just 5 minutes thanks to the Hanguang 800. Think about what that means for a company like Alibaba, which handles everything from product searches to personalized recommendations. The chip can also automate translations and make these processes faster and more efficient than ever. Now the great news is that Alibaba is not selling the chip. Nope, they are using it for themselves to boost the efficiency of their cloud services. So in other words, they have built their own secret weapon and they are keeping it in-house. This move by Alibaba has thrown gasoline on the already blazing global tech race. The competition between the US and China is heating up. With massive investments in semiconductor development, China is aiming to become self-reliant in key technological areas, particularly AI. And let's be real, US sanctions may have nudged China in this direction, but now they are sprinting ahead. But why does any of this matter? Well, it is not just about chips. Whoever controls AI technology will control a huge part of the future, everything from e-commerce to national security. These AI chips are critical for running the systems that power everything from military defense to everyday business operations. It is not an exaggeration to say that the ability to produce and control these chips is now a matter of national sovereignty. This is why tech giants in the US, like Alphabet Inc. and Facebook, are not sitting still either. They are developing their own chips to stay in the game, particularly to enhance their AI-driven data centers. It is like an arms race, but with silicon chips instead of missiles. Everyone is focused on creating the next best thing, and the Hanguang 800 has pushed the competition into overdrive. This global race for AI supremacy is also about efficiency, not just raw power. The Hanguang 800 is a prime example of that. It is designed to perform at an advanced level while consuming less energy, which is a crucial factor for any technology that's aiming to lead in AI, machine learning, and big data. It is smart power, not just brute force. But let's not forget that the road to becoming a semiconductor powerhouse is not exactly smooth. Intellectual property disputes, export restrictions, and geopolitical tensions are all obstacles that China and other nations face. Yet China seems more determined than ever to overcome these hurdles. They are continuing to invest in advanced technology, infrastructure, and research to make sure their semiconductor industry not only grows, but thrives. And the US is not sitting back. They have launched initiatives like the Chips for America Act to boost domestic semiconductor production and secure their supply chains. It is all part of a larger strategy to keep up and maintain a competitive edge. Now, the real focus is on innovation and protecting intellectual property. Countries are now pouring resources into startups and smaller companies that could bring fresh ideas to the semiconductor market. The goal is to build industries that are not only competitive, but also forward-thinking, which are capable of producing chips that can meet the demands of future AI and data-driven advancements. When Alibaba launched the Hanguang 800, it shocked the semiconductor industry. Big players like Intel and AMD are now racing to speed up their own research and development efforts. The arrival of the Hanguang 800 has turned up the heat, forcing companies to push the limits of what semiconductors can do. Expect to see more innovation in smaller, more energy-efficient chips as the global tech race continues to intensify. Now Huawei and Nvidia have entered the race. Other companies. It's true. One of the biggest players in the AI and semiconductor space, China's Huawei, has introduced the Ascend 910C, which is a high-end AI chip designed to go head-to-head with Nvidia's H100, currently the gold standard for AI computing. If you think this is just another tech upgrade, you are wrong. Huawei's new chip is not just a technological achievement, it is a direct challenge to Nvidia's dominance. In fact, if the early reports hold true, the Ascend 910C might just reshape the global AI landscape, tipping the scales of technological power in China's favor. This is a major shift, and it is one that could change the entire industry. But how did we get here? Let's rewind a bit. In 2022, the US started playing hardball with China's tech ambitions. Strict export controls were put in place, essentially telling American companies they could not sell advanced chips or chip-making gear to China anymore. The goal was to slow down China's progress in AI and semiconductors. But China didn't back down. Instead, they doubled down. China launched a massive initiative to develop its own chip technology, pouring billions into research, development, and state-of-the-art facilities. As a result, China's semiconductor production skyrocketed. It jumped 29% in just 1 year. Despite U.S. restrictions, China also managed to import over 1,000 advanced lithography machines, each one costing around $10 million. That's a serious investment in semiconductor production. According to Dr. Dieter Ernst, a leading expert in the tech world, the U.S. chip ban may have unintentionally ignited a fire in China's semiconductor industry. The harder the U.S. pushed, the harder China pushed back. In fact, some analysts are now questioning if the U.S.'s restrictions inadvertently sped up China's tech development instead of slowing it down. The fallout from this chip war goes far beyond geopolitics. The chip shortage of 2021 caused delays in everything from cars to electronics, affecting everyday life around the world. Now imagine if China becomes the dominant player in chip production. We are talking about a massive shift that could influence not only consumer electronics, but also emerging technologies like AI, quantum computing, and even 6G networks. These technologies are game changers, and they all depend on advanced semiconductors. The country that leads in chip development will also lead in these transformative innovations. Right now, China is making a serious play for that top spot. For the U.S., this is about more than just economic competition. They have to protect their national security. Advanced AI capabilities, especially those built on powerful semiconductors, have implications for military strategy, decision-making, and even electronic warfare. That's why the U.S. is so focused on keeping advanced chips out of China's hands. But China is not just standing by. In response to U.S. sanctions, they are taking steps to block American processors from being used in government computers, favoring homegrown Chinese chips instead. Provincial governments in China are ramping up subsidies for chip manufacturers, with major companies like Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corp. And Huawei benefiting from this push. While China is speeding ahead, the U.S. is not giving up. The CHIPS Act, which is a $52 billion investment, is aimed at revitalizing domestic chip production. It is a major part of America's effort to catch up. Factories in the U.S. are seeing a surge in electronic spending, but the thing is, China's pace is still faster. While the U.S. is making progress, it is clear that they are playing catch-up in the semiconductor race. Meanwhile, companies like Nvidia are caught in the middle. Nvidia, which once dominated China's AI chip market with a 90% share, is now facing the reality of U.S. export controls. Nvidia's CEO, Jensen Huang, even warned that continuing these controls could permanently close doors for American companies in China. But Nvidia is not the only one raising concerns. ASML, a critical player in the semiconductor industry, also warned that cutting off China could push them to innovate even faster. Peter Wennink, ASML's CEO, said that China's vast talent pool and resources could lead to new solutions that the rest of the world has not even thought of yet. In other words, by cutting China off, the U.S. might just be giving them a reason to push harder and innovate faster. And here's where Huawei comes back into the picture. Despite the U.S. restrictions, Huawei has continued to push forward. Their new chip, the Ascend 910C, is set to hit the market soon, with potential orders already surpassing 70,000 units, which is worth an estimated $2 billion. It is not on the same level as Nvidia's projected sales, but it is a great start. Of course, Huawei is not out of the woods yet. The U.S. sanctions have made it harder for them to get advanced manufacturing tools, causing delays in production. To counter this, Huawei has been stockpiling memory and building up reserves of raw materials, bracing for even more restrictions. But despite these challenges, they are pushing ahead, aiming to start shipping the Ascend 910C in October. The question now is, can Huawei truly challenge Nvidia's dominance in the AI chip market? Huawei's integrated approach with their AI framework MindSpore, designed to work with the Ascend 910C, could give them a significant advantage, especially in China. In the long run, this battle between Huawei and Nvidia could lead to exciting developments in AI technology. Faster, more efficient chips could improve everything from voice assistants to self-driving cars. But there is still a lot of uncertainty, especially with the geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China. So, what do you think? Is China finally taking the lead in the tech race with these new AI chips? Share your opinions with us in the comments below. If you want more updates on the tech world, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because we have got a lot more of this. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.